What companies make you wonder how are they still in business? I'm convinced that all mattress stores are just huge money laundering operations. Nobody is ever in there. And there are frequently multiple mattress firm warehouse etc in the same vicinity. I bought a mattress from a mattress store. The hour we were in the store, probably one other customer came in. They had like 3 employees working. Then it came time to purchase and the guy basically cut the cost of the mattress in half without us even really asking. So that then led to the understanding that their margins are so good that as long as they're selling even a small amount of product they will stay in business. There's a vacuum repair shop near my house full of old vacuums. And by vacuum repair shop I mean shady looking vacuum repair shop that probably sells lots of drugs. I actually know someone who runs a vacuum repair and it makes quite a bit of money. Repairs are usually very cheap to do once you know what you are doing, so the profits are huge. As a former employee, GameStop, they've done everything they can in the past 5 years to PSS off employees and consumers alike. It seems like it might finally be catching up to them, but it's been a long time coming. Not that I necessarily want to see them fail. I know plenty of current employees and don't want to see them jobless. But it really seems like it's happening in a few years. Whenever I drive around town, I see dozens of these tiny little shops that have been there forever. Those random shops on the bottom level of apartment buildings. They sell like seasonal items. Or random touristy shit despite not being a touristy town. Hell. There's a vacuum cleaner shop near me that's been in business for as long as I can remember and I've never seen anyone there. So I'm assuming it's a front for money laundering or something like that. One time my friend went into a burger place in Indianapolis. Real small place with only one guy. Guy's like, "What do you need today?" Bro is like, "A burger." Guy says, "Oh, a burger. Sure thing. Haven't done a burger in a while." Burger was great. He never figured out what they were really selling. There are still movie rental places in my town. Haven't seen more than 2 cars there in the past 5 years. Zero idea. You know what? I miss movie rentals. There was something nice about being able to browse sections of movies. Get someone's recommendation. And the game selections made it easier on my family. Too. Nowadays, you have to wait days to get a movie that isn't streamable. There is a VCR repair shop in my neighborhood that has been open for as long as I can remember. 24 hours a day. The windows are completely plastered with signs. So you can't even see inside from the street. I'm afraid to go in there. Party City. I just don't see how they make a profit. I can understand Halloween and stuff bringing in a good amount of money, though with Amazon and other websites this may not be the case anymore, and I guess people need to buy party supplies for other occasions like birthdays and the like. But I just don't see it. I always wonder what the employees do that work the morning afternoon shifts. There can't be many people coming in during business hours Monday Friday. I've heard places like that and Spencer's make like 70% of their profits off Halloween time. Makes sense why you see the pop-up stores just for like 2 weeks. Any magazine. Because. Internet. The answer is ad revenue. Lots and lots of it. I read a couple of pretty niche, low circulation history related magazines and they're filled to the brim with ads. And most of the ads are targeted at the baby boomer demo. Viking cruises. Jitterbug phones. Cheap shop at home jewelry. Life alert. Etc. In my city there is a store that sells sheepskins and waterbeds. It's probably a front for drugs. Maybe it's just me. But waterbeds scream. Sleazy 80s apartment. It. With a giant backlit aquarium in the living room. Those fireworks stands that are open all year round. Went to one of those in January once. It was just one guy in the big warehouse. Playing on his phone. And listening to music over the loudspeaker. Didn't even have most of the lights on until we walked in. There's a rug store. https://www.google Com Maps Place Marin plus Oriental plus Rug plus House at 37. 8,822,856. Minus 122. 5,251,745. 15Z data equals 4M5. 3M4. 1S0X0. 0x340b3e 45,764,365 fb. 8m2. 3d37. 8,822,856. 4d122. 5,251,745. In the town I grew up in that was going out of business for my entire childhood. And now, 20 plus years later, it still has going out of business signs in the windows. But yet, it's open. It's near a crazy busy intersection and is the only place that I know of that sells rugs within 2 towns. But I spent a lot of time hanging out at the video arcade next door, and I think in all those years I saw perhaps 1 customer per week go into that place. I think it's a money laundering front. Strangely, there was a store similar to that in a town where I lived for several years as well. Sold drugs. Displayed signs saying, going out of business. For at least a decade. This was in northeastern Pennsylvania. Money laundering, or worse, was a strong possibility. This store specialized in imported carpets. And perhaps the owners imported other things as well. There's this one dingy old car wash I pass every day on my commute. In 4 years I've only ever seen 1 person using it. 1. I swear it has to be a front or something. Staples Office Depot. I know they survive because they have office supply contracts with tons of businesses. But the brick and mortar side is strange. Anytime I go to either of these stores they're almost completely empty and packed with shit that I just don't know why anyone would buy there. Like random electronics and snacks. I always joke about how the easiest job is working at a Staples. Who is really coming into a Staples at 1 PM on a Tuesday? I guess they sell laptops and stuff now, but still, not a lot of people needing office supplies during business hours. I live in Canada where Tim Hortons dominates the market for coffee and donuts and the like. I wonder how the hell Robin's Donuts stays in business. Their stuff doesn't taste very good, from what I've had, and they have to compete with such a huge company like Tim Hortons. I don't understand it. Kia. I mean, how are they making money by selling me a car for 80 bucks? I've wondered the same. Though they are working on improving their vehicles. Still though, that's one car I didn't even remotely consider when I was looking for cars. If they were smart, they'd try to fill the void Mitsubishi left when they decided to stop making legit vehicles. Also, they need to rebrand slightly. Their logo and car names suck. Family Video. All other video store chains in the States have died out. And yet they somehow managed to have a location in almost every city where I'm from. It's baffling. Location. Notice they are always in small rural areas or poor areas. These people have bad credit. These people can't get credit cards. Thus, these people cannot use Netflix or Redbox. Availability. Redbox has a 28-day wait period on most studios' films. Netflix is months, years. FV will make their money on those films before others even get them. Real estate. They own almost all of their locations and rent out space they don't use. Source. Worked there. Model is solid. They give zero shits about their employees though. Apparently, there's a store called Steenmart. Pass it almost every day. But I didn't notice it for 18 years. And since noticing it, I've never seen anyone enter or leave. I asked my father about it. And he said, "Huh, I guess old people might shop there." Not a specific company. But there are so many nail salons and so many yoga studios in my neighborhood that I'm amazed they can all stay in business. Also, there's a tarot card reader in my neighborhood who's been here at least 20 years. outlasting all the other businesses that were in her building when I first moved here. Maybe she knows what she's doing? WinRAR. They get money from licensing WinRAR to companies. Honestly, I think Apple is only coasting on their success with the iPhone and iPad. A lot of the stuff they do now is shitty. And I really hate how they're trying to make all their stuff totally exclusive, with no compatibility for any other company's product. They stopped innovating post Steve Jobs. But they have a loyal fan base, and once you're in their ecosystem, it's hard to get out. Especially the longer you stay in. After 10 years, you're basically stuck with them forever. JCPenney. They haven't even fully recovered from the last managerial fiasco that almost sent them completely under. Now they are selling large appliances, or, at least, devoting more floor space to them or putting them in stores that didn't used to carry them at all. What makes them think there's any headway to be made in hard lines appliances when not even Sears can make enough money off of them anymore? For better or worse, the market is dominated by Lowe's, Home Depot, Best Buy, H.H. Gregg now. Plus, Penny's store brand women's lines, Worthington St. John's Bay, used to be decent, inexpensive clothes suitable for work. But they are so shitty now. Those cell phone repair places in very busy malls. No one is ever there, and you know the rent on those places must be insane. Actually, I work in a mall and I personally know someone who works there. Usually never see someone there because when you go in, assuming there isn't a long wait, it takes 15 minutes to fix. Then you're in and out. It's not something that requires them to be busy throughout the day. The Schwartz people. When I was a kid, my dad used to buy frozen foods in bulk from them back in the early 90s. I recently saw one in a neighborhood a few weeks back and I couldn't believe they still exist. Who is buying frozen food door to door in 2017? A company in the city where I lived had a lot of vans rolling around. And their logo on the van was, double quote, "We're your number one." Grammar intended. This didn't go changed for many years. Took at least 5 most likely. And all that time I never knew if it was meant as, double quote, "We're your number one," or, "We're your number one." There was a pizza place in a moderately trendy hipster suburb locally which used to have an excellent reputation and was extremely popular, handily outcompeting many other local pizza places. Then it got bought out, replaced all the staff, and the quality and service plummeted. The local joke was that it was now a mob front hiding the amount of money passing through it by comparing it to the previous owner's profits. So they were deliberately trying to be terrible and unprofitable on the pizza front in order to be able to launder more money from other sources. There's this donut shop in my town run by a retired person. And they make pretty good donuts. But they are almost never open. The sign on their door has what should be the normal business hours, but a lot of the time the owners just don't feel like showing up, so the shop is closed for the day. Which is really annoying when that was supposed to be my breakfast. The fruit arrangement companies. Fruit on a stick arranged like flowers in a vase, and the spiral cut ham places. Outside some of the major holidays nobody buys this stuff. There's a battery store in my city. It opened in 2005 or something like that. I don't know how they've stayed in business. All they sell is batteries that aren't cheaper than batteries anywhere else. Not special types of batteries either, like car batteries or computer batteries. Just basic AA, AAA kinds. Whenever I drive down that street I check to see if the battery store is there. And every time I'm surprised. I don't get it. I'm a book nerd and near my work there was a $1 bookstore. It was huge. And every single book was $1. I thought I dreamed it. So I went back the next day on my lunch. It existed. Bought some. They were all used books. But they had everything. Fairly recent hardcover fiction. Coffee table books. Comics. Old crusty books from 1800s. All $1 each. Over a period of months I essentially furnished about 80% of what is now my library. I knew it couldn't last. And it didn't. The space is now a Dave & Buster's. Backyard bird shop. I can see going in there and getting some kinda nonsense yard decoration. Or horrible chimes to hang from a tree. But how much business can this place actually do? How much repeat business can it get? How many yard gnomes is too many yard gnomes?